Now let's talk about 3 tips for
Okay.
women. What are the tips that you're going to give
Okay.
women out there?
3 tips for women during coronavirus sequester. Number
Mm-hmm.
1 is the same tip for women. That's always the tip for women, no matter what, is, and that's find time for yourself.
Hmm.
And as I was thinking about that, when I'm coming up with my tips for this, video conversation, I thought, why would that not be find time for yourself for men? And the answer is, at the risk of sounding gender biased, men do that very well because
Yeah.
they'll do it by not being present.
Yeah. Yeah, you just sit on the couch, you watch you watch an old game, which actually
Exactly.
this is what they're playing. They're playing all NBA final games,
Exactly.
all NFL things. So you're gonna
Oh, is
go
that
and do
right? I
that.
didn't even know that.
That's time for yourself. You just watch the game for
Yeah.
3
So
hours and
men tend to be better at figuring that out.
right.
That sort of self-care. So women have to make sure that they do that.
Right. And then just find an hour and then ask. So it's also a
Or even
powerful
30 minutes. Not everybody's comfortable with an hour. I mean, an hour is a lot when you have, let's
yeah,
say you have
kids and
3
stuff.
of your kids.
But it's also standing in a powerful request. It's like I guess that would be my tip for women out there. You gotta ask it, and you gotta make a demand. You gotta say, listen, I need time for myself, and I need the next 45 minutes to sit in the tub, and I don't want to be I don't want to
Yeah,
be interrupted. I don't want any knock on the door. I don't want to hear from you. I just need this time for myself. So it's kind of
right.
like
Help me out.
refresh and make that request because I think the other thing that I would see is that I'm trying to make some time for myself and nobody's going to leave me alone. Well, you have to. I would say you have to request it because on the other side you have men like
Yeah.
guys like me. It's like, well, you didn't ask me, you didn't say anything, like right. So it's just make the
Yeah.
powerful request. Leave me alone for
Yeah.
half
I
an
think
hour,
getting out of
45
the house
minutes, and
is
it's like,
fun.
okay, got it,
Yeah.
fair.
Getting out of the house might be a good idea.
Right. And then one of the things you said is like time for yourself is not social media. So say more about that.
Social media doesn't count as time to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Time to yourself is once again, I'm big on information needs to go in the brain. You need to absorb it.
Mm-hmm.
You need to process it, and then you need to utilize it.
Mm-hmm.
That processing part doesn't happen when you're dealing with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Usually happens when you're by yourself. That's why sleep's so important. It even happens in your sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to process. This is a lot.
Yeah, it
This
is a
is a
lot to
lot.
process. Yeah. Yeah.
Social media can be numbing too. For some people, it creates anxiety. For some people, it's numbing. For some people, it feels good, but it doesn't. But you're not processing. That
Yeah.
is not your processing time.
Right. And which would be actually another tip that I'll say, and I don't know if I'll keep that in the video, but I'm going to say it. One of the things you could do, it might be a good moment for you. You're seeing it. I don't remember ever removing so many people from my social media because
Interesting.
I view their content as or what they're saying as toxic to my well-being.
Oh,
Right. I
give an
don't want,
example.
I'm like, I'm like, I can't because it angers me.
What's an
Uh,
example?
Um,
If you're comfortable sharing.
well, it's political.
Oh,
People
okay. I
being in
understand.
support of one side or
I
another,
understand.
and then like
I understand.
I just
Can't
get
do it.
off, and I'm like, I just really don't want this. I cannot deal with this right now.
Yeah.
It's too much, and so there's actually one of the things you can do, and it is specifically on Facebook. There is a setting where you can snooze people for 30 days, or you can unfollow people for 30 days, or
Oh,
actually unfollow them for forever. And then there's some people that I simply remove them. I posted something,
yeah.
they added a comment, and I just got angry. I could feel like me getting angry. And I just say, you know what? I'm just going to remove them.
That's
Uh,
good.
there'll be another 6 months. If they ever confront me, like, why did you remove me? I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
I just could not deal with your viewpoint that right now.
Right now.
It's not
Yeah.
good for my well-being. So I would rather move. And it's not that I want everything to be rosy. It's not. But it's just too much right now.
You
It's just
need
it.
that.
Yeah.
That's the social media example of what I was saying about really being good to your spouse and
Mhm.
and having, hopefully your spouse being good to you during this period of time, even if you're planning on ending the marriage. I mean, right now you can't deal with that person on social media. Just like I said, right now is not the time to tell your spouse, I really feel less safe with you than without you.
Right, right, right.
Now's not the time for that dialogue. Just like you might want to have a political dialogue later.
Right. Yeah,
Not now.
you cannot snooze your spouse for 30 days. You cannot unfollow your spouse for 30 days. You
Right, but
cannot
you can be nice and make things pleasant.
right, because you're stuck with them. It's like, where are we going to go right now? So
Yeah,
it's an important
yeah,
distinction here. You don't have a choice, but
yeah.
get to the other side.
Yes, number two is accept help from your
Hmm.
spouse. This is for women again. Accept help from your spouse gracefully, and don't criticize.
Mm.
I'm going to tell a quick story of criticizing. I had a case a couple of years ago. It was a divorce mediation case.
Hmm.
The mom was a lawyer, and she was very
Hmm.
chop chop.
Hmm.
And the dad was, I forget what he did. He was in the finance industry or something. He was very chop chop too. So the two of them they weren't messing around with what they needed and wanted. They let each other know. They just didn't provide it. So there's an example of communication not being helpful. Two
Right.
highly articulate, communicative people that would tell each other, "No, I'm not doing that."
Right.
So they had a 4-year-old and a newborn, and he could never really seem to do anything right with the 4-year-old. And why they had a newborn, I don't know, but they did. So
Hmm.
they had the second child, and he went to the Target, I think it was, for diapers and wipes and baby stuff. And
And
he
he
came
bought
back,
all the wrong stuff.
and she let him have it. Let him have it in front of the 4-year-old. He divorced her. He said, "That's it. That's it.
Mm.
Now you are demonstrating, you know, high levels of critique,
Hmm.
basically abusive behavior in
Hmm.
front of our daughter. I won't have it." And that was it. I've heard that a million, a million times, a million times with my clients. And the mom says, "You couldn't possibly do 50-50 custody with these kids. You don't help with the kids." And the dad says, "Because for the last 10 years, everything I did, you criticized me. So I stopped helping. I'm perfectly competent. Give them to me 50% of the time. I will feed them nutritious dinners. But since nothing I do is ever right, I don't want to be fighting in front of the kids.
Hmm.
Not that I can't, it's that I won't, because I will not subject myself to that." I hear that all the
Mm.
time.
Resist the temptation to provide your critique. And I'm going to give you a tip here. Nobody cares. Uh, right?
Well,
Ultimately,
especially
is
if
no,
you know that you're headed for divorce, or if you are in the middle, if
right.
you are in the middle
They
of
just say the
of,
waters
of
are
your step,
rocky.
where are you going with the critique? You've already decided that this person doesn't do anything right, and you're divorcing them, or they're divorcing you. Why
Right.
are you continuing with the training 101 housework program
Right.
of
Don't.
not going anywhere with
It's
that?
not, yeah, you're not solving anything. All right,
As
cool.
I
So that
always
was the second.
say, if you couldn't fix them when you were married to them, you sure as heck aren't going to fix them when you're divorced from them.
Yeah.
So just stop trying. Stop trying.
That's right. That's right. All right. So the first
No,
one is make time for yourself. Second one is don't criticize, accept the help and don't criticize. And then what's the third tip for
the,
women?
the third one is back to, way at the beginning of the video, is have compassion for
Mm,
your husband who's trying to fix things in a big way. Remember, he's the forest guy, you're the tree person. You're
mhm.
trying to do all the details of every day. He's trying to figure out, he might be trying to create a system but I mean, have compassion for the fact that your husband is doing perhaps the best that he can with the type of person that he is, and that is more of a, "I am going to hunt the bear, you collect the berries."
Right.
That is who we are at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So try to engage. If your husband, since there's no bears to be hunted, your husband have compassion that your husband might be at a loss of what to do. So I would suggest, instead of giving your husband many, many, many little things to do, or screaming at him, why can't you figure this out? You can see what needs to be done. Give him a small number of bigger projects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Tangible, bigger projects. Don't be mad that he can't figure out what to do. Say, I need your help. Be nice about it and assign bigger projects, not a million little projects, because he's
Right.
probably not going to do the little projects right anyway, and then you're going to be mad at him.
Right. You know, the other thing that you're saying, as you're saying this, also for a man, if you've been laid off, if you lost your job, or if you lost your income, and
Oh,
as a man, you feel like, you know, as a provider, as the
oh,
one that's supposed to provide the safety, your manhood just took a huge hit.
absolutely. That's your
And whether
hunting.
you admit it or not, it's there. And I read a stat recently that half of America, so 160 million people, do not have more than $400 worth of
Exactly.
savings ahead of them. So, you know, I think that some people are in a very precarious
Absolutely.
situation on top of that financially. But it just it hits at a manhood if you were obviously the one providing income in the home. You just took a your husband or the man of the house just took a
Mm,
hit. Now, obviously, if it's reversed for you, if you're the breadwinner and the man is the one that stays at home, the feeling is reversed for a
yeah.
woman. We don't want to be gender biased there. Uh, but again, you know, it just, you know, men will have that. I'm the provider. I'm the one that provides safety. And if that's been taken away, you know,
Oh,
deploying
it's
compassion
devastating.
against that might be a good idea.
It's devastating. A woman can feel like she is a good wife and a good mother, whether she makes a buck or not. A
Yeah.
man that doesn't bring home the bacon, it's in
Yeah.
our culture, that tends to be more difficult. Well, I mean, we still have lots of stay-at-home moms,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
but we don't have a lot of stay-at-home dads. That's cultural.
Yeah. I mean, there's more of that, but you know,
More
technically,
of that,
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's
but
more of that. But you,
my statistics are not as much.
all right. Well, Robin, this was awesome. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you. Thank
spending
you.
time and sharing all this.
Thank you.
I sincerely hope that this video will make a difference
Me
with a few
too.
people that are having friction in their home. So those were invaluable tips. Thank you so much.